Hello everyone, and welcome back to some more Danganronpa with me, Phantom Zwei. So, our doorbell just rang. Let's see what's going on. There's way too much going on for me to even begin to summarize it, so let's just get into it. Makoto, get out of here. Or get out here. Kyoko, what's going on? Hina just came to see me, and she was white as a ghost. It sounds like something's happened. What? As soon as I heard those words, my heart started to beat a little faster. I suddenly found myself wide awake. She said for us to come to the rec room. The rec room? Okay, let's hurry. Hina. Makoto! Kyoko! Hina, what's wrong? Something's not right. In the rec room. What's inside? There was a window on the rec room door, and I hurried to look inside. And when I did... Sakura? Is she unconscious? She's sitting up in the chair like she's bowing her head. What's going on? Did something happen to her? I was just walking past and happened to notice her through the window, but I couldn't get the door open. I tried knocking. I tried calling her name, but she wouldn't respond. So what should we do? What are we gonna do? First of all, we need to get into that room. But the door's locked, right? And if we break in, we'll be violating school regulations. We're going to force our way in. I just said... The door isn't locked. It's not locked because the rec room door doesn't have a lock. Huh? Then why? It feels like the door is pressing up against something inside the room. Is it the chair? The chair? Either way, this door isn't locked, which means, as far as I can tell, the rule doesn't apply. And there's no problem if we break in. Let's smash the window. That would be the fastest way. Okay, I'll go get something to break it with. Wait right here! Inside the rec room, Sakura still hadn't moved an inch. She's just unconscious, right? She okay? I mean, it's Sakura, so I'm sure... Kyoko didn't reply. There was only silence. But that silence didn't last long. Here! I found a broom! In the classroom! Use it! You can handle this, right, Makoto? Come on, please hurry! Okay, you two, stand back! I took hold of the broom and swung it as hard as I could. Aiming directly at the window, all it took was one solid hit. The window shattered into 100 pieces, scattering across the rec room floor. I stuck my hand through the now open window and started jostling the chair, leaning against the door. The chair's pretty heavy, but if I can just... I pushed on it with all my strength, and finally the knob turned. Sakura! I ran up to her as fast as I could, but the moment I laid my hand on her... She's totally dead, isn't she? All I felt was cold death. I could feel only the last lingering warmth of a living body. Life had abandoned Sakura's body. And then... the body discovery announcement has gotta be... Excuse me. It has to be the poison that they mentioned, right? The poison from the Chemalab. Someone probably switched the label or something on, because I mentioned that when we found it. And she had a protein shake or something. This is, you know, an assumption, and it's probably not that simple because it is Danganronpa, but... Class trial time. Well, not really now, but investigation time. I'll start apologies.
Sakura-chan. Sakura-chan.
I heard Hina talking, but my eyes stared steadily forward. I could only look on at Sakura's dead body. We didn't make it in time. It's happened again. Muttering to herself, Kyoko began to gently inspect Sakura's body. I wondered, was she confirming that Sakura really was dead? Checking for a pulse or a reaction? I have to go get them. I have to go get the others. On shaky legs, Hina left the rec room. And I. Why? Why did this have to happen? That's all I could say. I repeated it over and over again. I need to examine Sakura's body. I just stood there, motionless behind her, while she checked Sakura's corpse. Time passed. While I stood there, unable to do a thing, time just passed. And after I don't know how long, I got everyone. Oh, ogre! Oh, so she's dead, huh? Sakura's been killed. I see. As soon as they arrived, Kyoko began. You heard the announcement just now, right? So you know what this means. Sakura was murdered, and by someone in this very room. Is what you were going to say. No. Whoever killed her, it's not just someone in this room. It was one of you! Hiro, Byakuya, Toko! One of you killed Sakura! Oh, what? You're accusing us before we've even begun the investigation. I don't need to investigate anything. Because you hated her. You hated the sight of her. What if you did it? I know it! You know it? Jeez, I didn't know your power level would increase by that much just by getting mad! What are you doing here? Isn't it obvious? I'm here to hand out my little murder flyer. That's right! It's the next Monokuma file! And don't get so mad, Miss Asahina, or you're gonna ruin that lewd little face of yours. Now then, with that, Hold on. There's something I want to ask you. Huh? It was you, wasn't it? You killed Sakura. Sakura wanted to challenge the mastermind to a duel. Maybe you and her fought again, and then I killed her? Sorry, not quite. Actually, not even close. That whole thing is totally irrelevant now. Sakura came to a most regrettable end without even getting the chance to finish things with me. Which, thank God for that, it saved me the trouble of having to go through with our little fight. Because even for someone like me, it would have been no mean feat to take down a behemoth like that. I gotta tell you, I was actually pretty worried. I mean, she violated a rule by attacking me in the first place, but I wasn't able to punish her. So I don't know who it was, but whoever the Blackened is this time, I owe you one. You owe them one? Oopsie. Before you get all pissy-potty at me, you better figure out who did it first. Because, I mean, your lives are on the line, right? What the hell? He owes them one? I hate him! I hate this whole thing! Well, I, for one, am glad it was Sakura. She was working for the mastermind, after all. How can you say that now? Sorry, I don't have time for your squabbling. The next game has already begun. If you want to be angry at someone, be angry at whoever killed Sakura. Right now, our top priority needs to be uncovering Sakura's killer. If we can't do that, we're all dead. Then let's decide who will stand guard this time. I'll do it. Hina, I'm okay. Just let me handle it. Besides, I want to be here with Sakura. Okay, then Hina is guard number 1, but we need one more. Kyoko, that's you. Me? You're always a thorn in my side. This time, just stand by and watch quietly. Consider that an order. An order?! Fine, I'll stay behind. Then it's settled. Let's begin, shall we? Hold on! Before that, there's something I want to say.
Nanda.
Which is... Hiro, Byakuya, Toko, none of you are allowed to step foot in the crime scene. What? One of you killed Sakura! I won't let someone like that come anywhere near her. Don't be stupid. Our lives are in as much danger as yours. We have every right to investigate. I don't care what you say. I'm not letting the one who killed Sakura anywhere near her. Even if it means I have to use force, you're not getting in here. Well, it appears further discussion would be a waste of time. How about a compromise? I won't ask you to let all of us in. Just let me. What? You don't really care, do you? You're both useless anyway. Nope, don't really care. I'd rather spend my time coming up with another splendid fantasy involving Master anyway. And you, Hiro, do you really object? If you're gonna go that far, what can I do? I mean, I don't really have anything left to hide, so why should I care? Then it's decided. Nothing's decided. I know how you feel, Hina, but you should agree to his request. What? We have to find out who killed Sakura. For those of us still alive, and to honor Sakura's memory. Fine. I guess that's okay. But no matter what, Byakuya, you absolutely aren't allowed to touch her. Naturally. Who would want to touch a filthy dead body? That's enough fighting. We need to focus on the investigation from here on out. Everyone, keep this in mind. If we can't uncover Sakura's killer, all of us face execution. Finding out who killed Sakura. It's not a matter of hoping we can do it. If we want to survive, we have to do it. It's a kind of hopeless hope. We have no choice but to just do it. Investigation time! Alright, give me just 1 second, guys. Okay, sorry about that. Oh, let's see. I better check the Monokuma file before anything else. The victim was Sakura Ogami. The time of death is estimated to be around 12 noon. What time is it now? I guess it doesn't really matter. The body was discovered in the rec room on the 3rd floor of the school. There is evidence of a strong blow to the victim's head. No other injuries were noted. Strong blow to the victim's head, huh? However, it seems that at some point the victim suffered from violent vomiting of blood. It's gotta be poison. What about the blow to the head, though? Huh. I think the case this time might be a challenge. Why's that? The only way into the rec room is the door we just came through, and that door had been jammed shut with a chair from inside the rec room. Which means the killer would have had to escape somehow after barring the door. So if the door was blocked from the inside, there was no way in or out until we broke the window. That's like zero escape, right? In other words, this is a classic locked room murder. Locked room murder? I guess you might see this kind of thing a lot in mystery movies or books or whatever. But could it really happen in real life? And right before our very eyes like this? Are you curious to hear more about what a locked room murder entails? Sure, if you don't mind. When you break down this kind of murder mystery, there are 4 basic types. The first type is when the locked room is created after the actual crime is committed. This simply means that the killer commits his crime, then through some special method seals the room. This mainly involves some sort of trick involving the locking of the room. Basic approaches include using a string or simple mechanism. There are a number of variations. So for that, all we'd have to do is check the door to see if that's what it was, right? The second type is when the locked room already exists before the crime is committed. Oh?
つまり
Basically, the killer uses a special contraption or tool from the outside to target the victim inside. You push a switch and it fires a handgun. You shoot an arrow through the gap in the door. Something like that.
だけど
But in this case, that doesn't seem to fit. There are no guns or arrows in the school, and the door doesn't have any gap that would allow it. Yeah, I think we could probably cross that one off the list.
そうね
The third type is when the killer stays in the room until it's opened up. What do you mean by that?
つまり
They stay hidden, and when the door is opened, they use the confusion to blend in with the group. They pretend they showed up along with everyone else, and that's that. That sounds like it could have been possible, maybe.
そうね
And the fourth and final type is when it wasn't actually a locked room at all. Not a locked room.
つまり
By that I mean there's actually an alternate escape route somewhere within the room. You see this a lot in novels and things, but in reality, it's generally not possible. Then you think we can cross that one off too?
ええ
I believe so, yes. When it comes to locked room mysteries, those are the basics. So there are 4 possibilities. And Kyoko, which of those 4 choices seems most likely in this case?
そうね
That's a good question. Answering that should be our primary focus during this trial. But right now, I can't really say. Okay, so immediate hypothesis time. So it was poison that killed Sakura. The blow to the head, I don't remember if the file said that it was recent or not or anything like that, but it's possible that in the fight with Monokuma even, that was an injury that she had prior from that. So it's not even necessarily related to her murder. So basically, but the barred door thing, maybe Sakura just wanted to be alone, and therefore she barred the door. She has a protein shake, which had changed, or had the label changed at some point, and that is when Sakura died in this room with the protein shake, because it was actually poison instead of protein. We'll see. The way the killer set up the locked room. Until I figure that out, the truth behind Sakura's death will stay hidden. It's definitely a tough mystery. I need to concentrate and investigate as much as I can. For Sakura, if nothing else. Alright. Let's take a look at this back here. There are shards of glass scattered all around the chair Sakura was sitting on. The glass is all red, and these are the top and bottom sections of a bottle, right? So this must have originally been a bottle. Glass shards on the floor have been added. There's something else on the ground near the glass. It's a figure. It still fits in the palm of my hand. It's a Monokuma figure. Huh. This looks like some kind of wrapper. Ah, that's... Do you recognize it, Hina?
それは
Oh yeah, I mean, I gave it to her. That's a candy wrapper. Sakura got super upset when she found out Genocide Jack had attacked me, right? So after we left the nurse's office, I gave it to her. I thought it might help her calm down a little. So you gave that candy to Sakura. I found a big box of it in the warehouse. I really like them. Actually, as soon as we could get into the warehouse, I took the entire box back to my room. I'm sure nobody else could get their hands on them. You really like them that much?
だって
But I wanted Sakura to get a chance to try one for herself. That's why I gave it to her. But now, they lost all their flavor. Hina. Polka dot candy wrapper, huh? Huh. What's that? Pool of blood? There's a blood stain in front of the magazine shelf. Must have come from Sakura, right? But that doesn't make sense. Why is it so far away from where she died? Okay. So maybe she was looking at the magazines when she initially started to feel sick and the poison took effect. That's when she vomited blood. she staggered over to the seat and that's where she died. Oh wait, the bottle came from here, because there were 5 of these, right? I remember these from the Celeste case. There are 4 red bottles lined up on the shelf. Excuse me. And inside each bottle, there's some kind of Monokuma figure. But what I'm wondering is, how'd they get those figures inside the bottles? It's no different from your standard ship in a bottle. Huh? You know, where the bottle's opening is smaller than the boat placed inside? You've never seen that? Oh yeah, maybe I have. So this is the Monokuma version of that, a Monokuma bottle, if you will. I feel like I'm finally starting to make sense of things little by little. The Monokuma bottle is sitting on the shelf. The Monokuma figure we found on the ground. The red shards of glass, which probably started out as a bottle. Which would mean Sakura must have been hit on the head with a Monokuma bottle, right? No, I don't think so. I think that she stumbled from the magazine rack over to that shelf and probably accidentally knocked one of those bottles over on her way to the chair. Going by my old hypothesis. Might be completely wrong. The shards of glass and the Monokuma figure are evidence of that. So I think it's safe to say that the Monokuma bottle was the weapon. I don't agree. Okay, let's look at Sakura now. Sakura drew her last breath sitting slumped forward in the chair. There's obvious evidence of a blow to the head Sakura suffered. Normally, I wouldn't have any problem believing that's what killed her. But according to the Monokuma file, she also vomited blood. And I can see a trace of blood on her lips for sure. So what would have caused her to vomit blood? The Monokuma file specifically said she hadn't suffered any other injuries. Maybe her getting hit on the head somehow caused her to start vomiting blood? Not a chance. Before we go into that, I want to look at the Monokuma file. Time of death is estimated to be noon. The body is discovered in the rec room. Evidence of a blow to the victim's head. Okay, it does not say when, anything about potentially how old the wound is or anything like that, so it may not be related to the murder. So I'm gonna stick with that hypothesis for right now. Not a chance. Byakuya. However, your eyes have landed on a most interesting location. Interesting. Yes, most interesting. Don't you agree? No, I don't think I'd call it interesting. But it does make me wonder. The reason Sakura vomited blood absolutely has to be connected to why she died. Okay, there's a locker here, and that was not open before. The locker's open, and there on the inside is a handprint? Huh. What's a handprint doing here? It looks like someone touched the inside of the locker, and it left a handprint in all the dust. And it looks quite fresh, too. I'd say someone was hiding in the locker, and they left behind a little something extra. So then, maybe the killer hid in here until the locked room was open, don't you think? And using all the confusion, they popped out and joined the rest of the group. Unfortunately, that's not a possibility. Why not? Think back. Before we opened the door, we looked inside the room, right? The locker was open, yeah. Yeah, and the locker was already open at that point. So there's no way someone could have hidden in there until after we opened the door. Yeah, so then, what does this handprint mean? Now that one kind of throws a monkey wrench in my theory. Excuse me, very stuffy. I got most of the things near Sakura. I haven't looked at the magazine rack yet, actually. that same shelf full of magazines. There's all different kinds of magazines here. Okay. Okay, so let's look at Hina. Anything to say? We already know who did it. Byakuya, Toko, or Hiro. It had to be one of them. I couldn't stand the sight of her. You agree with me, don't you, Makoto? Well, I don't want to say anything for sure without finding out more. Then let me help you find out more. You see, Sakura asked all three of them to meet with her. You know where? Right here, in the rec room. What? After I went to the nurse's office this morning, Sakura and I both left together, right? Well, eventually, she went off on her own. But when I saw her again after that, she told me. She said she'd left a note for each of them. She asked them to meet her in the rec room by noon. By noon. The Monokuma file said she died right around then. I'm telling you the truth. I heard it right from Sakura herself. And I tried to stop her. But she wouldn't listen. She said not to worry, that she just wanted to talk to them. And this is what happened. If I'd stopped her by force even, this never would have happened. Hina. It's impossible not to have regrets, I know. Well, that's important, probably. But the fact that she'd asked those three to meet with her, and she asked them to come to the rec room at noon, the same place and the same time and place she'd end up dying. It might be good to confirm what I'd just heard with the three of them directly. Indeed, versus Kyoko. But for Sakura to have been killed, yeah, she's not the type that would go down without a fight. And she certainly didn't, I would say. She was the ultimate martial artist, strong in body, mind, and spirit. So how was the killer able to get the upper hand on her? I wonder, did someone get the upper hand? They must have taken her by surprise, right? Certainly. They would have needed to if they expected to stand any chance against her. And Byakuya. Oh, what's that? There's some kind of plastic container rolling around near the entrance of the room. Oh. Yep, there's the protein bottle. Aha! I feel vindicated for my original theory. But what about the locker? It looks like a protein drink. And it's empty. Sakura must have drank it. Everyone knows how much she loved her protein. And she mentioned more than once how protein was good for all sorts of ailments. I wouldn't take that to heart if I were you. I know. But still, this protein can... It's got a label that says Chem A2. That reminds me, Sakura mentioned how the Chem Lab had all sorts of health stuff. She must have gotten this from the Chem Lab. But that's strange. Huh? What is? You see what's scattered around the can. Shards of light blue glass. They must be parts of the window I broke to get inside. But they aren't just scattered around the can. They're also underneath it. Why does that matter? I can't say for sure yet, but you're probably going to want to take note of it. Does that mean that someone dropped the protein shake can after they'd come into the room? I feel like it'll become an important clue later on. An important clue? I'm not sure I see how. One thing I need to remember is that Hiro was acting really strange when we passed by him in the hall. I'm not sure that he did it, but in fact I kind of doubt that he did it. I feel like this death might have been an accident. Not really necessarily an accident, someone changed the label on the protein. But who? But basically what I'm getting at is I think that Hiro probably walked by or something, or maybe even walked into the room. But then, he couldn't have got in, because the door was barred. I don't know. I feel like my theory is going up in smoke. I do think that poison had to do with it, and I think that a label being switched probably had to do with it. But, beyond that, I don't know. Empty protein drink has been added. Like, I don't understand how the candy would fit into this, or anything either. Let's talk to Byakuya.
Nanda.
What do you want? You're bothering me. There's something I'd like to talk to you about. Make it quick. Is it true that Sakura asked you to meet her in the rec room? So you found out. Interesting. Then it's true. I did receive a note to that effect, yes. But what fool would do what it said and risk being killed by that monster? So you didn't go see her? Of course not. I ripped the note to shreds and threw it away. I haven't seen Sakura today at all. Byakuya says he didn't go see her. Is that the truth? Well, until I can prove otherwise, I have no choice but to accept it as fact.
Oi.
If you're all finished, please remove yourself from my sight. Okay, thanks. Okay. Is there anything else here to see? The time. It's around 1 o'clock. Okay, so this happened about an hour ago. According to the Monokuma file, Sakura died around 12, roughly an hour ago, or rather, was that when Kyoko and I were moving Alter Ego? Yeah, which is when we ran into both Genocide Jack and Hero in the hall. And Hero was acting really weird. Genocide Jack was acting nuts as usual, but that's par for the course. Does that mean that Genocide Jack also saw Sakura? I feel like Hero at least saw Sakura through the window. And was like, oh god, I don't want to be involved in this. At the very least, and that's why he was so spooked. Now, Genocide Jack... It feels entirely possible that Genocide Jack might have come in here and messed around with stuff, maybe even to emulate Byakuya. Maybe that's why the door was sealed. Maybe she also dropped the protein shake when she came in. Huh. Okay, let's look at the seat. The chair was shoved against the doorknob, so we couldn't get the door open. There's no evidence that it was used, or any kind of string or mechanism was used on the chair. In other words, there's no reason to think that the chair had anything special done to it. Yeah, but then Toko was outside the room, so she couldn't have sealed the room. I don't know. Oh yeah, I already looked at this, right? Okay. Let's look at the door. This door is the only way in or out of the rec room. The door doesn't have a lock, and there's no evidence that the mountings had been tampered with. The only noticeable change to the door is the smashed window, which happened, of course, when I broke it to get inside. There's no evidence that any kind of string or mechanism was used on the door. In other words, I don't see anything suspicious about the door itself. Having examined both the door and the chair, there's no doubt the reason the door didn't open was simply because the chair was shoved up against it. This kept the doorknob from turning and the door from opening. There was no evidence of the door or chair being tampered with or anything like that. So the killer must have created the locked door from the inside, not from the outside. Which seems to imply that Sakura did that herself. Maybe? Otherwise, I don't get it. Well, Makoto, have you finished with your general investigation? Basically, first thing I think I need to do is go... Well, I mean, obviously I need to talk to Hiro and Toko, but we also need to go to the chem lab. Yeah, I think so, for the most part.
Yeah.
Then you should probably go talk with the people now. I'm on guard duty, so I can't leave. Which is why I've decided you'll go in my place. She's decided? She's gotten a lot more pushy since we had our issue. But she's right. I do have to go talk to the others. Sakura wanted to meet with 2 other people. I need to hear what they have to say. Okay, so I'll... Oops, I forgot about the fact that I just have to... R out of here. I guess we'll save the Chem Lab for later. Those two probably went back to their rooms. Alright, so Hiro and Toko. Toko is right over here. There it is. I press the doorbell. And after a few seconds... Okay, so not Genocide Jack right now. Ah, the most negative aura I've ever felt. An aura of total decay.
川さん戻ってたんだね。ジェノサイダーじゃなくて。
あいつの話しないでよ。気分が悪くなるじゃない。
Okay, so we're not going to be able to get any kind of account from Toko. Huh.
せっかく楽しい気分なのに。
She didn't look like she was in a good mood.
あのさ、ちょっと話があるんだけど、今いいかな。
Obviously annoyed, Toko slithered out into the hall.
なんの用よ。
I wanted to talk about the fact that Sakura had asked to meet with you. What?
それは。
I don't know what you're talking about. Byakuya already told me that she had asked to meet with him. What? She wanted to meet with Master 2? I just said 2, didn't I? I guess now it's totally obvious, huh? Yeah, pretty much. So, can you tell me about it? I admit it. I did get the note. But I didn't go see her. I was scared, so I couldn't bring myself to go. Toko claims she didn't see her, but can I really believe her? The problem with her statement there is we know around that same time we were delivering Alter Ego and we saw Genocide Jack in the hall. So either she doesn't remember that or she's completely lying. I don't know if Toko is really necessarily super aware of what she's doing when she's Genocide Jack. But either way, that is not true. Well, until I can prove otherwise, I have no choice but to accept it as fact. You saw her in the hall, man. Is that good enough? Then I'm going back to my room. With that, Toko quickly retreated into her room. Alright. And now, Hiro. He's down here, right? I pressed the doorbell. And after a few seconds... What's up, Makoto? Did you need something? Yeah, actually. I just wanted to check something. It's about how Sakura wanted to meet with you. How did you know about that? Did you maybe gaze into my soul? Have your special abilities awakened in you? But I'm not the only one she wanted to meet with. Ogre told me herself that she asked Byakuya and Toko to come too. What? When did Sakura tell you that? Oh, well... When she asked me to meet with her, of course. But didn't she write you a note? Yeah, a note she gave it to me in person. And she happened to mention it to the others, like, in passing. I gotta be honest, this is super suspicious. So then you went and met with Sakura. No way, I totally didn't. Why would I ever do that? Yeah, definitely suspicious. The last time I saw Ogre was when Hina got hurt and I took her to the nurse's office. I haven't seen her since then. While I'm here, could you show me the note she gave you? Oh, do I still have it? Let's see. Hiro was feeling around in his pockets. Sorry, looks like I don't have it anymore. With a big goofy smile on his face, he pulled his hands back out of his pockets. But when he did, I saw something flutter to the ground. Something had fallen out of Hiro's pocket. A candy wrapper. The same one that Hina had given Sakura. Huh? Quick as the wind, Hiro snatched it back up again and shoved it back into his pocket. Sorry, just a bit of trash I forgot to throw out. Trash. Anyway, I can't deny Ogre asked me to meet with me, but I never went. So, well, if you'll excuse me... Before waiting for a reply, Hiro quickly slipped back into his room. Hiro said that it was just trash, but there's no way that's all there was to it. He is a terrible liar. So I've heard from Toko and Hiro. What next? I'll definitely have to look at the actual crime scene again, but on top of that, maybe I should find out more about that protein can that we found on the floor of the rec room. I'm sure it must have come from the chem lab. So where should I start? The chem lab! Okay, so we're going directly to the chem lab. We'll go back to the crime scene later. Though I guess, frankly, the crime scene is closer, if I think about it rationally, because that's on 2F, so maybe I should go back there first. Though I'm more interested in the chem lab, to be frank. But let's go ahead and check out the rec room. Isn't it on 2F? Am I crazy? I might be crazy. I guess it's not, huh? I guess it's on 3F. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So let's just go here first, because it's right here. So Makoto, how's your investigation going? I told Kyoko what Toko and Hiro had told me. I see. So along with Byakuya, they're both claiming they didn't go see her. But it's all too convenient. Someone must be lying. Someone's lying. Well, I've made some progress on my own. Sakura's body, the shelf of magazines, and the Monokuma bottles. These 3 things have revealed new clues. You do well to go over them one more time. Okay, so the magazine rack. Kyoko said the magazine shelf was hiding a clue of some kind. A clue. Huh? This magazine is upside down. What does that say? Kakuto ladies? Did someone put it back that way on accident? If something catches your eye, it's important for you to explore that in detail, don't you think? Yeah, you're right. I picked up the inverted magazine and flipped through it. Whoa. This is Toko, written in blood. It's one of the pages. Near the center of the magazine, a word had been written in bold, bloody letters. And it said Toko. Could this be a dying message? It would appear you found it. Kyoko, is this? It is indeed a dying message. Someone used their finger to write it. A dying message. But just to be clear, I'm not the one who put it back upside down. It was already like that when I found it a little while ago. I made sure to put it back exactly as I found it, for the benefit of others who might come looking. Oops. I'm gonna take a look at that again. Actually, we haven't got it added to the truth bullets yet. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Hey, is that... It says Toko, right? Yeah, it looks like it. Then she's the killer, right? Well, it hasn't been confirmed yet. It's settled. She's the killer for sure. That's conclusive evidence, right? We can use that to corner the killer. I can see why you would think that, but it just seems too easy. If anything, it makes me that much more suspicious. I'm trying to look at it, because the way we're reading it is not inverted, right? It's not. Is it the same thing as, you know, basically as Sayaka's murder, where it's just written strangely? I can't really read that from another angle and see anything different, but I could just not be looking at it right. I don't see anything else there, though. Huh. She said the Monokuma bottles, right? I think Kyoko said she found a new clue involving the Monokuma bottles. Something new, something new. Huh. So, did you figure it out? There's a hidden correlation between all the bottles. Pay careful attention and you're sure to find it. A hidden correlation? I don't understand at all. Hey Kyoko, can't you just tell me what it is?
それが
I don't mind guiding you toward clues, but giving you my conclusions isn't a good idea. Each person needs to come to their own conclusions, so that everyone can have confidence in the outcome. And it's not just because you don't trust me. And it's not just because you don't trust me, right? No answer? I do trust you to a degree. Otherwise, I wouldn't have told you anything to begin with. Only to a degree. Okay, that clue flew over my head. So, I definitely feel like Chapter 3's case, I already had a much better understanding. This feels like Chapter 2 all over again, where it's like, I have some ideas, but that's about it. Actually, there's one other thing about the Monokuma bottles that's bothering me. I'd like to do an experiment to confirm it. You don't mind helping me, right? An experiment?
とにかく
Can you gather up all the pieces of the broken Monokuma bottle? Try to get the smaller pieces, too. Huh? Are you sure it's okay to mess with the crime scene like that?
別にいいじゃん
I've already done a thorough investigation, so it's fine. And that obnoxious Byakuya is not here, so... Oh, he already left, okay.
じゃあ
Anyway, I need to get something from the chem lab while I'm gone and try to gather up all the glass. With that, Kyoko left the room. I really don't know what this is about, but what choice do I have? I'd better just do it. I took the broom and dustpan and got to work collecting all the broken bottle pieces. And just as I finished up... Sorry to keep you waiting.
じゃあ
It's everything ready? Then let's get to work. So what kind of experiment are we doing?
つまり
I got a scale from the chem lab. We're going to use it to compare weights. Compare the weights of what? The pieces of glass you collected, and one of the Monokuma bottles that's still intact. So she thinks there's more glass there than just from the Monokuma bottle. Why do you want to do that? That's the point of the experiment. It'll make sense when we're done. First, let's compare the weight of two normal Monokuma bottles. Perfectly in sync?
つまり
Which means each Monokuma bottle weighs about the same. Which makes sense. The Monokuma figures inside are basically the same weight, and nothing else could really affect the weight.
じゃあ
Now here comes the important part. Put all the pieces you collected on one side of the scale. Now, what might we expect to see? Well, a normal assumption would be either they'll balance up or the pieces I collected will be lighter. I did my best to get all of them, but there's a chance I could have missed some here and there.
じゃあ
Okay then, let's give it a try. Huh? The broken pieces are heavier. How's that possible?
やっぱり
Just as I thought. What?
つまり
The results of our experiment and the correlation between each of the bottles. Put it all together.
ね
And I believe you will arrive at one very persuasive conclusion. So, what do you think? It's all on you. I mean, other than it being heavier, and therefore there being some extra pieces from something, I don't exactly know what to make of that. Again, I feel like I'm definitely... This is kind of going over my head in many respects here. And I forgot what the third thing is. Sakura's body? Is that what she said? She found another clue on? According to Kyoko, there's still something to be discovered from Sakura's body. Okay.
ちょっ
Just staring off into space isn't going to help you figure anything out. Well, yeah, I know, but
とね
don't you think you might not... Yeah, you might need to actually examine the body? There's no getting around it. Unlike me, Kyoko didn't recoil at the thought of touching a dead body. She was completely unemotional. It's the kind of thing I've grown perversely used to. Although there's still some times. Can't believe how calm you are. No matter how many times I see a dead body, I can't get used to it.
そうね
That's totally normal. Then how can you...
それが
I imagine it's because I've had plenty of opportunities to touch dead bodies in the past. What? Sorry, never mind.
ね
More importantly, look here. Huh. Something is splattered on her shoe. Her shoes?
そう
You see that yellow powder on her instep? Yeah, it really stands out.
なるほどね
That powder is clue number 1. Yellow powder has been added.
ね
Next is the wound to her head. Look carefully.
そうね
Actually, even telling you that is incredibly difficult to spot. So, let me just explain.
どうやら
It would appear she didn't suffer a single blow, but instead received 2 blows to the head. 2 blows?
ええ
Interesting, wouldn't you say? And there's one more interesting thing.
そう
Both of her hands were spotless. There's absolutely no trace of blood on either one.
そうね
So that's what I learned from examining her body in detail. Huh. I can't believe she was able to learn all that just by looking at her body. I don't think anyone but Kyoko could have pulled that off. There, I finished examining all the things Kyoko mentioned, and I did find some new clues. But when it comes to locked room puzzles, I'm still totally clueless.
ね
Oh, I just remembered. There was something I wanted to tell you. I saw Byakuya in the chem lab when I went to go get the scale. I didn't want to deal with him, so I took great pains to sneak in and out without him noticing me. And
それが
if you haven't checked out the chem lab, you should do that since I couldn't do it myself. You know, the protein can we found in the murder scene must have come from the chem lab. I think you're right. I should probably take a look around that area.
え
Indeed. Okay. I'm feeling very lost on this case at this point. I'm not even gonna try to posture and be like, whoa, maybe if this is linked to this. No, I kind of feel like I have a lot of disjointed clues, and I have some very loose assumptions that really aren't worth even mentioning. So, okay, the chem lab is here? Yes, yes. Yellow powder, right? Makoto, did you have your eye on the chem lab too? Just be sure you don't get in my way. Yeah, I got it. I think what you meant to say was, yes sir, I understand. No, that's not at all what I meant, actually. Let us first look at the yellow powder, which was on Sakura's shoes. Okay, well apparently I'm looking at the shelf even though I clicked on that. This isn't my first time seeing the shelf, but I just can't get over how big it is. I should probably take a closer look at it. Okay, so we're zooming in. It looks like 3 shelves have been connected together to make one giant shelf. But more important right now, what's that powder that's been spilled in front of the shelf? I have to be careful not to step in it. Footprints. These are footprints. And they're only in front of the left shelf. How do these footprints relate to a scene as a whole? The scene as a whole. We may need to sketch out a floor plan. By we, do you mean me? How kind of you to offer. With an insufferable smirk, he handed me a piece of paper and a pen. Well, let's go. Chop chop. Okay. So I got to work, and before long, I'd drawn up a sketch of the room. So how's this? Not bad. For you, I mean. For me.
なるほど
So when you look at it like this... Interesting. It would appear that whoever left these footprints only had business at the leftmost shelf. They came in, went straight to that shelf, did whatever they had to do, and then left. That's what the footprints tell me.
なるほどな
These footprints must be
ありえるな
Makoto. Are they yours? No.
なんだ
Okay then, let me see your shoes and I'll confirm their size for myself. I couldn't think of a reason not to, so I quietly did what Bikuya said. I see. Your feet do appear to be too big. Unfortunately, I must admit these are not your footprints. Unfortunately? But with how clear these prints are, it should be quite easy to determine who they do belong to. These prints are a really valuable clue. So Makoto's shoes are too big. Hiro is bigger than Makoto, right? So it has to be Toko, Kyoko, or Hina. For whose footprints they are, I mean. There's a bunch of yellow powder scattered on the floor. I better not leave a footprint. It's poison. I see the crossbones. There's a broken bottle in front of the shelf. Is this where all the powder came from? It looks like the bottle had a label on it. Kim C4. And the one on Sakura's bottle was C2. If I remember right. Would you like to hear something interesting? I was on the 4th floor this morning checking things out. And at that point, this room wasn't like this. Then this powder must have been spilled. That's right. It could only have been around the time of the incident. If that really is what happened, it must be related to the case somehow. I should probably take a good hard look at that powder. There's a bunch of yellow powder scattered in front of the floor in front of the shelf. There also remain the remains of a broken bottle. It looks like the bottle was labeled Kim C4. Also, it looks like someone left their footprints in the powder. Based on the positioning of the prints, whoever it was only went to the left side of the shelf. According to Byakuya, the powder would have had been spilled right around the time of the incident. That's all I can tell for now. Footprints in the powder has been added to the Truth Bullet section of your handbook. I don't understand. It's on Sakura's shoe, which seems to imply that Sakura was here when it spilled. But there's no other evidence of that. And those wouldn't be Sakura's footprints, right? Because she's huge. Her feet, I imagine, would be larger than Makoto's. I could be wrong. Let's see, what's on the shelf? There are all kinds of dietary supplements and different medicines. But there's one poison bottle there, Kim C9. The protein drink we found in the rec room probably came from this shelf. All of the containers on the shelf are labeled with the letter A and a number even. So I guess I can consider this part of the shelving under Unit Section A. Huh? But wait! There's one bottle here labeled Kim C9. Could someone have put it here on accident? Okay. So whoever came here probably put that poison in the first shelf they could reach, right? So, on this shelf it looks like a bunch of chemicals that I have no idea what they are. They're reagents. Put simply, they're used in experiments to bring about a chemical reaction. How have you lived in such ignorance for so long? It must truly be bliss. Isn't that kinda harsh? What, you think studying science and mathematics has no practical application in the real world? The words of a lifelong loser, which I suppose suit you well. I didn't even say that. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Right now I need to focus on the shelf. The containers of the shelf are labeled with the letter B and a number. There's another Kim label there. So I guess I can consider this part of the shelving under Unit Section B. I don't see anything out of the ordinary here. In which case, I don't think I have to worry too much about the shelf. Okay, well I guess that Kim also had B written on it, out of sight. On this shelf is one look, and I can tell it's nothing but dangerous chemicals. Okay, yeah, all of these look consistent. These look like poisons and other powerful chemicals. All of the containers on the shelf are labeled with the letter C and a number. So I guess I can consider this part of the shelving under Unit Section C. So this is the shelf where that poison originally came from. I should try to find out more about this shelving unit. It looks like it's split into 3 sections. Section A has dietary supplements, Section B has reagents, Section C has lethal chemicals. Sakura must have gotten the protein powder from Section A. But what concerns me is that in Section A there was a bottle with a label from Section C. What was a bottle of poison doing from Section C, or from Section C doing in Section A? There's definitely something going on there. Chem lab shelf. Oh, is it class trial time? Wow. Well, this episode is long as hell, now that I look at the time, so that's convenient. Okay, so we will get to this section where we can review evidence and all that before I end the episode. It's a time already. But we're right in the middle of figuring out this locked room mystery. I'll have to tie up all the loose ends at the class trial. No, I absolutely will figure everything out. We better, or we're screwed. Like I said, I don't feel like I have a good grasp on this one, so this is going to be winging it. I don't feel anywhere near as confident as I did in Trial 3. Monokuma made his announcement, and everyone began to meet up one after another. And then... the ultimate martial artist! A locked room murder mystery! What the... Oh, I just recently discovered the power of emoticons! Like, no matter how awful something is, if you toss in a smiley face, it turns positive. For example, you're at a picnic and you find a dead body. Haha! This is just plain creepy. And how about the reverse? No matter how great something is, if you put in a sad face, it makes it super negative. For example, do you have 100 friends? He's right, that does make it seem sad. Now then, please get on the elevator. Huh? I'll see you all down there. What the hell was that? I don't get it. I don't get you guys. How can you act so casual after murdering someone? I don't think I'm acting casual. I mean, I didn't murder anyone. I'm completely innocent. How dare you call me a murderer? Whatever. Either way, the truth will be revealed soon enough. Because there can be no doubt. One of us is the culprit. The killer. The one that murdered Sakura. She was stronger than anyone I know. And yet someone killed her. And that person is here? That person is one of us? Okay, actually, that's right, I'm gonna get to say beforehand anyway, so... I said it before and I'll say it again, it wasn't me! The culprit is one of us, make no mistake about that. Because I didn't do it! How many times do I have to tell you? How can you just stand there and say you didn't do it, without even breaking a sweat? Standing around here isn't going to do any good. Let's get going. Alright, here we go. And there's only 5 people left here. Well, 6 including me. But, man, let's put it into this. I made my way towards the elevator. But with each step I took, I felt like I was moving further and further away from my goal. I could feel a chilling fear running through me, trying to make me rot from the inside out. No matter how many times I go through this, it never gets any easier. We climbed into our steel prison in total silence. We watched the doors close, and felt it begin its sinister descent. The elevator lowered, uttering its all-too-familiar clunking sounds. It fell lower and lower, and as suddenly as always, The ride was over. The doors opened once again. Just the 6 of you, huh? Really? That's so few. You must be so lonely. You say that like it's not your fault we're all that's left. I wonder, will the class trial end with one less classmate again? Or will your school life come to an end completely? Now then, are we ready to begin? You know the drill. Find your assigned seats. And so the curtain opened for the 4th time. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith, a deadly class trial. Alright, and of course that is going to end this episode. It's time to go into the 4th class trial, see if we can make sense of what the heck happened, and probably end up with one less friend at the end of it. So, if you guys are enjoying the series, if you will consider picking up the game, support the developers, all that good stuff, that would be cool. And as always, thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you all next time.